Hello and Happy New Year from Lübeck! If you're wondering what I did for New Year's, I went to a bar with a couple of friends. We had one shot at midnight and then we saw people going nuts lighting fireworks after that. So Lübeck is another European city with lots and lots of churches and they are really tall. But it also has this awesome museum on the Hanseatic League, which is this sort of trade confederation based mainly around the Baltic Sea area, so the countries surrounding that. So Lübeck was kind of a key city because it allowed for goods that were coming from Novgorod, which was, I guess, a key trading point for a lot of goods coming from the east to then make its way over to the west. And for once I actually get where the terms like east and west come from. So before this part of Europe really knew much about Africa or America or Australia, it really was just east and west. East being Asia and west being Europe. Anyway, I have to say this museum was really, really well done. So they give you like this NFC card where you input your language and you tap it onto things along the way and then it'll show you the information in that language. And that's really, really cool. And I guess because it's just this one story of the Hanseatic League that you're following the whole way through, it actually made me want to read a lot of the stuff there instead of skipping through it. But I started this week actually in a smaller Swedish town called Helsingborg, or how it's supposed to be pronounced, Helsingborg. I arrived on a night when a storm was rolling in and we decided to go out to the pier to check it out for some reason. Anyway, this is the aftermath and I'm pretty sure this section here is not meant to be covered in water, but yeah, this is what happened after the storm. So one thing I noticed was that Helsingborg seemed to have a lot of hair salons and barbers, and I'm not sure if it's because there's only like one strip of shops for like the whole town that all the hair salons and barbers need to be in that one area, but I just happened to run into like 3 within a distance of 10 meters and I just kept seeing them everywhere. One other thing, so in Australia, we do all sorts of Frankenstein pizzas where we put like tandoori chicken on pizzas and cheeseburgers on pizzas. Well, the Swedish version of that is a kebab pizza. So this is basically a cheese, onion, and mushroom pizza that they make normally, and then they just shave kebab meat on top of it, and then they cover it in garlic sauce. It is exactly how it sounds like, which to me is tasty. And then I took the ferry across to Denmark to Helsingborg, and there's a castle there, the Kronborg Castle. And this is really like the first like nice castle I've seen. No offense to the UK, I mean, you guys have castles, but they're just kind of like a bunch of buildings that were built over many periods, then surrounded by a wall. Whereas Kronborg Castle is just like this one nice building with a courtyard in the middle and then defensive structures around the outside. And I know it sounds weird to be like so impressed by a castle, but you have to understand that in Australia, castles don't exist. And we read these fairy tales of princesses and kings and castles, and it's not like I didn't know that they're based on some sort of truth, but I think some part of me just always thought that they were fairy tales and not like real life. And actually seeing this castle just made me realize that this is all based on like real things. I also went to another castle in Copenhagen which had the crown jewels in it. So yes, if you didn't know, Denmark is also a monarchy, and I think the Danish people actually quite like their monarchs, but this castle wasn't quite as impressive as the Kronborg Castle. Sorry. So Copenhagen is also home to another beautiful church, the Grundtvig Church, which was completed in 1940. But what's really special about this church, to me at least, is that it's all made out of this like very light colored brick. The floors, the ceilings, the pillars, like everything is made out of brick. And I mean, just look at it. It's gorgeous. So a few things I noticed about Copenhagen. Firstly, there are lots of design shops. There's even a design museum, which I went to. There's this whole section on like Danish chairs, and it was pretty cool. Secondly, there are public toilets, and they're free! This is something that I expect back home. Like I just walk into a mall anywhere in Australia and I know that there'll be a free toilet, but that has not been the case in most of Europe. But Denmark, thank you. Thank you for free toilets. And thirdly, MX is still alive in Copenhagen. RIP MX Sydney. So I ended up taking a train from Copenhagen to Lübeck, and I was told that I would get on a ferry, and I didn't really understand what that meant, but it's really cool. The train actually goes on the ferry. I mean, you gotta hand it to whoever engineered this. Getting a train on a ferry, crossing from one country to another, like it's just genius. Anyway, I hope you're all recovered from New Year's, and I think it's gonna be my birthday by the time I send this to you, so happy birthday to me, and I'll see you next week.